Hi everyone, it's Zach and I like movies, and I'm here today to review the new Matthew Vaughn movie, Argylle. Argylle. Man, for the last, I don't know, 4 months, doesn't matter what movie I saw, I got the trailer for this movie everywhere I go. Didn't matter if it was something like Godzilla minus one, or I think I saw then, or Ferrari. I got this movie. And there was like a good 50-50 shot that also got the Bob Marley movie trailer too. Probably gonna get bullied into seeing that one too. But not nearly enough of as much Madam Web trailers. That's a little disappointing. But anyway, so Argylle, Matthew Vaughn. Guy's a really frustrating filmmaker for me because he has shown that he has got the goods to make fun, entertaining movies that are at the very least unique among themselves. But the last I don't know, decade and a half or so, he has just not really shown any of that promise of his first few movies. Like, I'm not a fan of Kick-Ass. I'm not even a fan of the comic either. I do not get the hype for X-Men First Class. I don't like what it's doing plot-wise, and like that's a whole other review. I'm not a fan of the Kingsman movies, but I at least see the appeal of them. You know, they're sent up of James Bond stuff. You know, they're irreverent. I also love Taron Egerton. I'm glad he was introduced to him. I also like Colin Firth in it too. But yeah, and Argylle was kind of. It seems like Argylle was kind of doing like Romancing the Stone meets the Kingsman movies. You know, kind of recapturing what made those movies special before they just kind of got lost with themselves. So in here it's Bryce Dallas Howard. She's playing the author of this series of spy novels who gets targeted by these real life spies because her books are prescient somehow, and then she gets saved by Sam Rockwell, who's this good guy spy. And oh, can he be trusted? Can he not, or anything? And oh boy, this was not good. This was not a fun experience at all. This was, in fact, a very not fun. The polar opposite of enjoyable. Just Argylle does not feel like a real movie. This, in fact, doesn't even feel like a movie inside of a movie. It actually feels more like the Gray Man, or what was it called? The Red Notice. Movie that looks, feels, and might as well have been AI generated. You have all these stars who have basically nothing to do. There are these very CG heavy action sequences that just kind of is like, hey, you're having fun, aren't you? You're having fun, right? Are you having fun? Please tell me you're having fun. And then you look into it, and it somehow costs like several $100 million. Where is this money coming from? But I mean, this one's came from Apple, so like that, they're never running out of money, as far as I know. Yeah, honestly, the one word I kept coming back to when thinking about this movie is exhausting. This is a tiring movie. This is 2 hours and 20 minutes long, and man, it feels like almost four. This, oh God, and like the plot, and like if it was like fun, and like the plot gets so stupid, so convoluted. They throw in a lot of twists at you, and most of them are stupid, and they just get more and more, and like any momentum they were trying to build with like, oh, the stakes and the mysteries of like, oh, who can you trust, who can't you trust, or like the romance between Bryce Dallas Howard and Sam Rockwell. It gets totally killed, and it's just thrown into this like new plot development, and like it keeps happening. The more and more twists it just throws at you, and let me tell you, those twists, they just get stupider and more asinine the further it goes on. And the performances are not good. Not good, and it's a shame because this is a pretty stacked cast, and like both Bryce Dallas Howard and Sam Rockwell are just breaking their backs 5 different ways trying to carry this material, but they're basically given nothing to do, and And Bryce Dallas Howard, I do like. I think she's a talented actress, and she's even shown to be capable as a director in some of her Star Wars episodes. But like this role, like it calls for someone who can play. Oh, she's mousy and innocent and introverted, and I don't think Bryce is really that. I don't think she's really suited for that. Sam Rockwell, honestly, I think comes out the best out of everybody here. But I don't think this kind of action role is really suited for him for either his limitations physically or his age. Like, if he's going to be playing an action role, it should be something like Bob Odenkirk played in Nobody. Just a dad rock action movie. That's what he's suited for. Also, like Bryan Cranston in this, I feel like the tone there's sort of this check they cash in with the tone in like the opening where we have Henry Cavill as this super secret agent with this silly looking haircut that makes his head look almost like a perfect square. He's dancing with Dua Lipa to the song that is not Let's Dance, by the way. And John Cena's there too, and it's all so obviously fake and goofy on purpose. And but then later, there's also this same sort of hyper reality, this sort of like kind of cartoonish thing, and but it's not always consistent throughout. Like Bryan Cranston, he plays this villain completely straight. And he's evil because he shoots his subordinate in the face in his introductory scene because he failed him. And it's like come on, you can't do better than that. And he's trying to do real menace. Like, oh yeah, he's a really bad person. You're supposed to be scared of him, but again, the tonal balance is just so all over. It's just not consistent at all. And maybe it would have worked. Like I'm thinking of why Sam Jackson as a villain worked in Kingsman, because he was so clearly hamming it up and having a fun time doing it. And maybe Cranston would have worked if he was trying to do some Walter White menace with some of his more wacky physical performance from when he was doing Malcolm in the Middle. Gotta get the best of both worlds. That would, that could have been something. But nah, he's just so serious and just so whatever about it. Man, but and what the stuff they try to do with Cavill is fun on paper. Where they would in some of the the action scenes they would have Sam Rockwell and Cavill be swapping places, Cavill the book spy and Rockwell the real world spy, they're kind of burn between them in Ellie's eyes and quite literally through Ellie's eyes, because the movie employs this blinking effect where they would swap places. It is always distracting. It is so janky. It looks so weird. It drove me up the fucking wall. Oh, it kept doing it. And man, someone get Cavill a new agent or something. Like Matthew Vaughn just kind of has Henry Cavill as James Bond, but just kind of wants to not just do that. And it kind of doesn't know what more to do with him and just get their money's worth with Henry Cavill. But he just winds up wasting his talents. I got more out of Henry Cavill in the trailer for the new Guy Ritchie movie that played in front of this than this entire movie, where he is on the front of the poster of. Honestly, but the only ones that are more wasted than Henry Cavill are both John Cena and Ariana DeBose in just complete throwaway roles. Yeah, I kind of expect Samuel L. Jackson, who is also here, to kind of have a role like that. But man, you have John Cena and fucking Anita from West Side Story, and they get nothing to do. Nothing to do. Straight to director jail for you, Matthew Vaughn. God, Dua Lipa gets to do a dance number, and Ariana doesn't. What a waste. What a waste. But okay, if the movie was fun enough to, and the action scenes were kept the energy up and was fun. Maybe some of these, like, the more asinine it gets, and the more frustrating aspects of it would go down a little easier. But they're mostly just kind of okay at best. But most of the time, man, they are just so green screen and CG heavy, and it's so overbearing. It's kind of what I hate so much about this, like, modern blockbuster filmmaking, where it's just, there's no physicality here at all. I do not believe that this supposed globetrotting adventure took place outside anywhere and went anywhere beyond, like, a warehouse in Atlanta somewhere, where, like, even the cat is, like, mostly CG for this entire runtime, and they just keep throwing the cat at you. I think there was maybe one single shot where the cat is, like, a physical cat. Maybe, I don't know. Oh, God, and like, the way it's filmed too is just so, it just looks so, it just sort of accentuates the artificiality that we're kind of already presently noticing with the so obviously, it's not that the CGI is so, there's so much of it, but it looks cheap. It looks unpolished. And it's not even like the CG artist's fault. I mean, we've all heard the horror stories of like overworked and underpaid CG artists. Thank God they're unionizing, but it doesn't make any of the more like computer generated dependent action scenes like look or feel any better than they're trying to be. And like, like, I don't want to say what it is, but there is a sequence, the final act, that is so garish, so cheap looking, so insistent on how fun it's trying to be, that it's mind numbing. And like, it's frankly the entire movie in a nutshell, to be honest. And like nothing happening here is real. I don't believe a single person did anything going on in this. It all just looks like previs. Like, believe me, that scene is going to wind up on Twitter one day, and everybody's gonna look at this and be like, "This movie cost $200 million to make. Who allowed that to happen? Why have we not found that person? Why have we not stopped them?" But all of these action scenes, they just feel so, they get so samey a lot, and like it's all this like bright color, Matthew Vaughn, splendor and stuff. Where the dance choreography kind of meets with the violence, and sometimes it's even to the tune of the music, and in a way kind of similar to what Edgar Wright does. But first problem, the violence here is so PG-13 biteless that the juxtaposition, that Matthew Vaughn usually goes for with those kinds of action scenes, is completely lost. And two, these fights are not at all paced well. They just keep going and going and going and going. By the time it gets to like the third extended action finale, I am just so checked out. I was like sinking further and further into my chair to the point when we had like maybe 15 minutes left. I'm just like, like there. I'm like already here, emotionally, spiritually, everywhere. Like, and I would almost admire some of the swings it takes if maybe it committed to a tone that allowed for something more cartoonish and more, hyper real that some of these action scenes kind of go for, but they don't. Like, as I was saying earlier, it starts out as spoof, not quite as silly as, like, I don't know, Austin Powers, but it kind of finds that spot that Matthew Vaughn kind of goes for. But it's sending up all these spy movie tropes. It kind of has fun with them, but like but like by the time it reveals who the real Agent Argylle is, it just stops being funny. Like, the jokes basically disappear completely, and it just becomes a really rudimentary spy movie. It wants so bad to be over the top in its break points of like action, but it also asks us to take the dramatic stakes so seriously. Like it's kind of the same problem I have with the Kingsman movies. Like, it wants to have its cake, eat it too, and then have a food fight with me. But yeah, this was not good. This was hands down the worst thing I think Matthew Vaughn has made thus far. It is overbloated. It is a waste of so much money, a waste of a lot of talent. It looks cheap. It's not really fun. Not even worth. Like the one comfort I take from this is that that now that I've seen it, now that it's out, I don't have to see the goddamn trailer in front of every movie I see. But that is kind of it. This was very much not fun. I am feeling the most strongest of 2 out of 10s I could possibly give. This was no, not good. Not good. What did you think of Argylle? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Do you like Matthew Vaughn movies, or are you as hot or cold with him as I am? But anyway, comment, like, subscribe, share, please. I have a lot of movie watching to do this month, and I'll try to be a little more consistent with the reviews. But I'll be watching movies, and I hope you do too. And good night.